Welcome to our video tutorial database part 2. This time we're going to look at insert and delete. The presenter is still me, Chigomana MD. In this lesson, we are going to look at connecting to a Microsoft Access database programmatically, but we are going to concentrate on insert and delete statement. We use insert when we want to add a record to a table, and we use delete when we want to delete a specific record. Those are the objectives for this lesson. Let me start by showing you how the application must work. When we load the application, we see the following. Now, if you can just check here under insert, when it comes to insert, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 text boxes. In other words, there are 7 inputs. There are 7 inputs. Now, what I'm going to do here, under ID, if you can just check, we have 24 records. I'm going to insert record number 25. Right? I'm going to insert record number 25. Let's say, for example, the name, it's, let me just say, it's in Dombela GP, right? The gender is F, the profession, it's police, the qualification, certificate, the area, Heilbronn, the race, Africa. Right. So these are the inputs. When you click insert, you see the new information that you have entered. You see the new information that you have entered. Now, how about delete? When it comes to delete, let's say, for example, we want to delete, let's say, for example, line number 17, row number 17. I'm going to write delete, and then under that text box, I'm going to have 17. Right. When I delete, if you can just check now, row number 17 is no longer there, which means that it has been deleted. Now, let me go and show you how to make sure that this happens, how to insert and how to delete. I'm going to start by the btn insert click command. All the steps are the same. You create a connection, you create a command object, you create a data table, you set a string object, you open the connection, you initialize the connection, and then when it comes to querying a database, now you don't query, you insert, that is line number 54, you insert data into the database. Now, the first thing, you must create the parameter holders. Look, in our form, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In other words, we have 7 input. Now, because that information, the user is going to add different information as time goes, then it means that we have to use parameter holders. We have add ID, add names, add gender, add profession, add qualification, add area, add race. Now, the same steps that we've used in our previous video when it comes to using parameters, they are the same. Look, we have done the parameter holders, but I want you to check this statement. We start by saying insert into, this is the name of the table, and then what are you inserting? You are inserting values. Insert into the name of the people, the name of the table, values. Right. Now you are done. In other words, now you have the parameter holders. Now let us just check ID. When it comes to ID, line number 59, we create its actual parameter. You know, all this, the same thing that we did. It's only that now that we have 7 parameter holders, we are going to have actual 7 parameters. That is line number 59 up to line number 65. In other words, if we were having 70, parameter holders, we're going to have 70 actual parameters. Right, the next step is to assign the parameter holders to the actual parameters. In other words, now each parameter is being assigned to its actual parameter. In other words, we are giving the parameter their names by using the parameter holders. If we were having 1,000 input that needs parameter holders, we were going to have 1,000 name assignments. That is line number 69 up to line number 75. Line number 78 up to line number 85, we are assigning the values to the parameters. Because we have 7 parameters, then it means we must get values, 7 values. We are getting information from txtid.text, txt names, txt gender, txt profession, txt qualification, txt area. The same thing that we learned. It means you have to master video number 2 for all the steps when it comes to parameters. The next step, you are going to assign the parameters to the collection like we did in our previous video. Because we have 7 parameters, we have to assign 7 parameters to the collection, to the list of parameters. That is what is happening in line number 88 up to line number 94. Now, line number 97 is very, very important. Execute a query. Because we are using insert delete, like I explained in our video number 1. Now we don't use execute reader, we use the command.execute none query. These are not queries. We are not querying anything, but we are adding things, we are deleting things. That is that. Then we close the connection. We add the information to the data grid view as we did previously. Then here I'm just clearing the text boxes. Now line number 115, I'm calling the forms load event so that I can populate the data grid view with all the information that is in the forms load event. In other words, I'm calling the procedure form insert load event and send the argument sender and E. For details of this, go and check the forms load event. Thank you. That is all when it comes to insert. Now I'm going to show you the delete. Delete is very simple. Right, when it comes to delete, all the steps are the same, but I want you to check this statement. Obj command.command text is equal to delete from val people. Val people is the name of the table. Where, in other words, here we are trying to create the parameter holder. In other words, the user is going to write the line which he wants to delete. Now, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that we have to use ID. Sometimes you can say delete from val people where s names is equals to add my s names. In other words, only the parameter holder matters here. Right. Like we did in while we were inserting, you have to create the actual parameters. You have to assign the parameter holders to the actual parameter, and then you must make sure that you assign the parameter holders to the actual parameters. You assign the values to the parameters. You assign the parameters to the collection. The same thing that we did when we started talking about parameters. And another line which is very, very important, we use obj command.execute non-query because this is not a query. We were just deleting, we're just inserting. Basically, that is that. I hope you have enjoyed the lesson.